Said on the end of the last video that we're going to work on creating this table from the paper. So just give some ideas on how we can replicate this or make unusual tables. All right, so this table is organized by each breaking down by the year and then giving this average across the states for each year. So if we go back to our studio, we need to insert. I'm here in my data section underneath where I created that previous table. I'm going to insert a new R block. So let's just create a new data set for creating this table. So table fatalities, I'm going to pipe that. And we want to group by the years, right? We want a summary for each year. So we're going to group by the years, and we're going to pipe that to the next line here. So once we have a group by, we want to summarize the data. So let me summarize. So we want to have the drinking age. Use capitalization to indicate that it's the new variable. And the drink age, we want it to be the mean across all the states. So we have the mean of drink age, and let's just have it show us this table that we created, see if it's functioning. Okay, so here we have the drink age. We got 20.3 here. If we look at our table, 20.3 for 1982, and what's here in this table is the drinking age is 20.9. So it's slightly off. If we read the footnote here, it says the average minimum legal drinking age and beer tax are weighted by the population in each state. Okay, we can do that. We can weight by the population in each state. So we just go back up here to drink age. We multiply that times the population divided by the mean population. Let's do that now. And now we get this 20.9. 20.9 is what we had here for 1982. So we're getting the same results as they got on the table here by doing that. We're getting this message is popping up also here about the summarize command. We don't want that message. So we come over here and tell it to turn off the messages. So this tab here, just a handy way. Really all that is doing is adding this line here. You could just type this line, right? This is in the brackets of the R code. It just says message equals false. So now if we rerun this, that message is no longer there. It's suppressing that message. Okay, let's go more to this. What do we need? We need the beer tax. Beer tax equals mean beer tax. And again, this is going to be weighted by the population. So we have population divided by mean population. And that gets us the beer tax column. And then see, what else? We needed to indicate the different laws. We have the breadth equals. And so this in the table doing here is counting the number of states. It's not, if you did the mean, it'd give you the percentage of the states that had this law. What we want is a count. So we want to count where it's true. Well, you can, right, if something's true, R considers that a 1. So we can just add up those ones, sum, and then we just put if breadth equals yes. Right, and so let's just see what our table's looking like here. So yeah, we got 18 was what was on the table in the book. Here we have it here. And then we need, they have a bunch of other laws in the other one, right? The table here, right? Jail or community service is one column, right? So we back here, we created previously our JS, jail or service, which is jail or service is true. So we can just create our variable here, jail equals sum, JS equals, we need to use, right, we're comparing if it's true or not, so use the double equal sign. If JS equals true, see if that works. Yep, okay, so that gives us a count for if that is true now. We can make this table a little bit nicer by making it a stargazer table. Stargazer table. Again, up here in our messages, we can also have to put results equals as is for the stargazer table to come out right. So this is a data table. If you give stargazer a data table, it would create a summary table like we did before a summary table. We don't want that. So we're going to have summary equals false. We do not want it to give us a summary table. We want it to present what we have created here. And so let's just see how this looks here if we run it like this. Of course, here it gives us a bunch of HTML, but we can already see the HTML. Let me go ahead and knit this so you can see it nicer, but I'm already seeing that the year did not show up as years. It showed up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is because year is a factor, and you see quotation marks around 1982. That 1982 is just a label that goes over 1982 equals 1, 1983 equals 2, and it just puts this label over it. And so it's not showing us the labels. Let me see what this looks like. It didn't, oh, I forgot to put the style equals. Let me go back here. Is it our type equals HTML? And let's see now if it showed up. Okay, so now we have the table here, and you can see how first we have a row number, and then we have the indication for the year. So we want to get rid of these row numbers. Those don't help us at all. And then we want to make the years show 1982, 1983, so on. And then we have way too many digits on these. So we got some things we got to clean up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the row names here. This first 1, 2, 3, that's just the row name. So let me make this so it's easier to follow. You just put row names equals false, and then hopefully that should get rid of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of each one. Okay, so we got rid of the row names. Now the year, to deal with that year issue, problem is we want to change it so it's a numeric. So we can just go back up to our data table up here. We can put up this command that mutate. So we're just rewriting over that year, and we have two functions here nested. That first, we're making it as characters, so it gets the 1982, 1983, so on as characters, and then we're converting it to numeric, and then we continue to pipe it on to the rest of the command. So hopefully that should get, so that shows, and then here we can see 1983 in the middle of that HTML. Let's go ahead and knit all this so we can see what it looks like so far. Okay, well, we got 1982 here. We got rid of the row names. We got the years in here. Again, we got way too many digits. That is just, smashing them all together. That does not look nice. Remember, before we tried digits equal 2, to reduce it down to only having 2 digits. And if we look down here, we can still see there's just tons of digits still. That digits equals 2 just didn't work here. That works in the default tables for Stargazer, but here where we said, we don't want one of your default tables, this digit command just doesn't work. That just didn't work. So what we need to do is in our data set here, we're only going to use this data set for creating the table. We need to mutate it to round all the numbers inside this data set, right? So what we can do here, we can pipe, and this is something that when I was doing this, I had to look up how to do this. What I did is search for Stargazer, or no, probably just mutate round. You want to do basically all the numbers. So you don't want to do it where you're just doing one at a time. So mutate all here. So found how to use mutate all for rounding select numbers. We scroll down to the answers, and someone's like, you don't need to use the mutate all. It's this different version of the mutate function. You can just use this across function, and it'll do the same function across multiple variables. So the one that looked the nicest was mutate across where is numeric, and we round, and they said 3-digit. We're going to do 2-digit. So we have this, and this is in part of our just organizing the data here. So if we now run all this, we see, hey, our digits, now everything's nicely down at 2 digits here. Okay, so let's just knit again and see what it looks like here. So, oh, there we go. Okay, this titles up here don't look nice yet. We can add names to them, right? So just like we did above up here, where we add this covariate labels, we can do this covariate labels command again down here in our Stargazer table. Covariate labels equals C. Okay, so the first one is year. We want to capitalize it, make it look nice. The second one is drinking age. The third one, gotta remember our commas in between them. Third one was beer tax. The fourth one is breath test law. And the last one is jail or community service. Okay, so now if we run this. Okay, so we got the labels here. There's kind of pushed together. The spacing's a little bit odd. Okay, so I think the titles would look better if like this drinking age was listed on 2 different rows, and like breath test law was done at 2 rows. You could just add some HTML into these titles here. So if we want drinking age to be on 2 different, you just put a break, puts it on 2 different lines. So let me just add some more of those breaks across those titles, knit it all together. And let's see what it looks like. Okay, so there we go. It's not perfect yet. The spacing's a little funky. You can continue to mess with it to get it pretty, but this would be a very good table. This would be wonderful if you could turn in a table that looks this nice. And so we're replicating as well as we can the table that is here in this one, right? We don't have a lot of these laws aren't in our data set, but we've largely replicated that table. I think that table is done well enough that we can stop there about how to do that. Hopefully this gives you some ideas on how you can create a table that is a bit unusual for showing your data. And if you have like a collection of a panel that's just a handful of years, giving this data for broken down by years is a good way of showing that data. Okay, so it's also good to show you data using graphs. So in the next videos, we're going to create some graphs to show off our data so we can get a good understanding what's happening with our data.